Councilmember Bolasan is absent. Councilmember Carvalho. Here. Councilmember Cowden. Here. Councilmember Holland. Here. Councilmember Kaneshiro.
Present.
Councilmember Cooley is on his way. Council Chair Opozo.
Here. Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carried. Next item, please.
Chair, next item are the minutes on page 2, the minutes of the following meetings of the Council: the August 13th, 2025 Council meeting, the August 27th, 2025 Council meeting, and the August 27th, 2025 public hearing regarding Bill number 2970 and Bill number 2971.
Any discussion or public testimony? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Next item, please.
Next item are items on the consent calendar for receipt: C2025-191 and C2025-192.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion or public testimony? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Next item, please.
Communications: C2025-193, communication from the Housing Director requesting Council approval to receive and expend 2025 Housing and Urban Development Family Self-Sufficiency Grant Funds in the amount of $122,252. This recurring grant funds the Family Self-Sufficiency Program that helps families in Housing Choice Voucher Rental Assistance Program achieve economic independence.
Second.
Any discussion or public testimony? You have any questions?
Well, I don't, is anybody here? Okay, sure, very, very brief.
No, that's fine. With that, I'll suspend the rules. Yeah, please come up.
I know this is reoccurring, right? But this is such an important program, the Urban Development Family Self-Sufficiency Grant. So I love this program, but just for anybody who might be watching, if you could just say it a little bit.
Sure. Steve Franco with the Housing Agency. Also with me is our HCB manager, Jennifer Taguchi, and our new FSS specialist.
Housing Choice
Voucher
and SFS
is Family Self-Sufficiency Specialist.
Okay, because people don't know.
Yeah. Brylin Iwo, who had just joined the Housing Agency in that position. So to your question, the FSS program is a case management type of program to set goals for 8 Housing Choice Voucher participants to gain financial independence. That could include job training, seeking better employment, receiving access to community resources, that kind of stuff. So the intent of the program is to assist participants to eventually someday move off of the HCV program and become financially independent.
So if I'm hearing correctly, if somebody gets like a HUD voucher, that's what that means. If they have housing assistance, which puts them at a certain income level, if they earn more than that amount of income, it can go into like an escrow account.
That's correct.
So that they can save money. And so what it does is it keeps people from holding themselves back, because what we want is people to grow through the program. And without a program like this, people sometimes get stuck. And this helps them to not be stuck. Am I saying that correctly?
That's correct.
I'm using kind of simple words, but so especially when I talk to relatively young people that feel like held back, who do they go and ask to get into this program? How do they know to do this?
So I'll let Jen answer that. But basically, once they're on the HCV program,
the Housing
Choice Voucher program, they are recommended and to join the FSS program.
So it's automatic they get exposed to this? Okay.
Yes, they are highly encouraged to be a participant of the FSS program.
And like what percentage of the people on Housing Choice Vouchers or HUD vouchers typically go on to this?
About 10%, 10,
okay.
15%, I would say. Yeah.
So it's not for everybody, but
yeah.
it's really a big step for those who are.
For sure.
And is this the same amount, this $122,000, or is it? Are we getting any more? Are we going
I
up?
believe it's basically the same as we've had in previous years, yes.
Okay, well, thank you.
Yeah.
I just really wanted to help people who might
Sure.
be listening
For sure,
to know that there's some hope.
no problem.
Thank you. And if anyone has any questions on the program, you know, this county has a lot of programs, especially in housing, elderly, real property tax, that many of our community members are not aware of. So if anyone has a concern or question on this program or any other housing program, what's the number?
808-241-4440. They can contact the Housing Choice Voucher.
241-4440.
Yeah, 4440, yeah.
Yeah, because we've got millions of people that watch this show.
Yeah.
Thank you. Any other questions? If not, thank you very much. And welcome to the team.
Yes.
Anyone in the audience wishing to testify? Seeing none, I'll call the meeting back to order. Oh, I'm sorry. Rules are suspended.
For the record, Bruce, I think one of the things that wasn't pointed out is that what happens is that you get into Section 8, and if you earn more, you get less from HUD. So it has a negative effect in people being motivated to better themselves. And this program helps those people to be able to stay motivated to raise their income level. So I just wanted to point that out. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Seeing none, I'll call the meeting back to order. Any further discussion? Seeing none, the motion is to approve. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Next item, please.
Next item is C2025-194, communication from Council Chair Opozo, transmitting for council consideration a bill for an ordinance amending Chapter 23, Kauai County Code 1987 as amended, relating to the regulation of business and trades to increase the taxi cab rates for touring and chartered time.
This is the communication attached to the bill, which will come up later, but I'll take testimony if there's anyone here wishing to testify. Seeing none, the motion is to receive. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Next item, please.
Next item on page 3 is C2025-195, communication from the county clerk requesting council approval of the indemnification provision and the governing law jurisdiction provision outlined in the general terms and conditions section contained in the contract between General Code LLC and the Office of the County Clerk. The Office of the County Clerk seeks to enter into a multi-year contract with General Code LLC, who is the county's sole source vendor used to codify electronically and in supplement form the Kauai County Code 1987 as amended twice a year, with a total estimated annual cost of $6,385 for a proposed 3-year term.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion or public testimony? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Next item, please.
C2025-196, communication from the fire chief requesting council approval to accept a donation of 1 Fire Prevention Week kit at an estimated value of $230 from State Farm Insurance, which includes 1 banner, 15 posters, and 100 of each of the following: kids' activity booklets, adult brochures, tip sheets, stickers, magnets, and bags, in preparation of Fire Prevention Week, with the kickoff event for Saturday, October 4th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Kauai Philippine Cultural Center.
Move to approve.
Second.
With a thank you letter.
With a thank you letter.
Thank you. Any discussion or public testimony? Seeing none, all in favor? Oh, I'm sorry?
Oh, I didn't know if he wanted to, I see the fire chief is here. I didn't know if he wanted to tell people what's going on, but if not, no worries. Would you like to? Yes.
Well, this is about the gift. So
The gift.
Yeah. You can come up if you want. I mean, the rules are suspended. It's just that this is the council approval for a gift of items.
To pay for it, yeah.
Good morning. Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Council. For the record, Mike Gibson, Fire Chief. No, thank you. And just to get it on the record, Fire Prevention Week is coming up the week of August 6th. We are having our kickoff to Fire Prevention Week on Saturday, October 4th, 9 a.m. at the Kauai Philippine Center. This year's theme is lithium-ion batteries, just the safety and awareness of charging, not overcharging. And yes, we're just happy to get on the record that we're acknowledging this donation and Fire Prevention Week this year.
And it's very typically very fun for kids, but also their parents can learn about fire-wise, and there's plenty of things to learn about how to harden their communities.
Yes, the lure is to bring the kids in for fun and then teach the parents about the fire safety and with our wildfire, wind-driven fires, how we can harden the home and create defensible spaces. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for the chief? If not, thank you very much, chief.
Thanks, everyone. Have a good day.
Anyone in the audience wishing to testify? Seeing none, I'll call the meeting back to order. Any further discussion? Motion is to approve. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Next item, please.
Next item are claims. C2025-197, communication from the county clerk transmitting a claim filed against the county of Kauai by Gregory Terrence Dominique for property damage, loss of merchandise, health hazards, financial relief, and related operational costs and expenses pursuant to Section 23.06 Charter of the County of Kauai. C2025-198, communication from the county clerk transmitting a claim filed against the county of Kauai by Delphine Castillo for vehicle damage and personal injuries pursuant to Section 23.06 Charter of the County of Kauai. C2025-199, communication from the county clerk transmitting a claim filed against the county of Kauai by Rhonda Refamonte for vehicle damage pursuant to Section 23.06 Charter of the County of Kauai.
Move to refer to the county attorney for disposition and report back as necessary.
Second.
Thank you. Moved and seconded. Any discussion or public testimony? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Oh, I'm sorry. With that, I will suspend the rules.
Good morning, Council. For the record, Lonnie Psychos. This is an issue that has never ended, is constant at county council meetings, which are damage claims against the county, specifically about vehicles. And so we don't have a county auditor, but my question for the council is, looking at the percentage of damages based on our population compared to the other counties, do we have a similar rate, a lower rate, or a higher rate? And we might look at that nationally as well. And is this just life and it's going to happen and there's not much you can do about it? Or is there something we can proactively do to reduce vehicle damages? So some of it's going to be potholes, but some of it could be the manner in which the county conducts business in some areas, and maybe we can modify what we do to try and bring this down. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else? I'll just say to the public that this is the process. It comes here, then it goes to the county attorney, and then the county attorney releases a quarterly report on settled claims, which is open to the public. Obviously, the unsettled claims are not. But I can tell you on behalf of this council, and what I've experienced from all members of this council, is when we get these claims in executive session to discuss, there is serious concern by all 7 of us on what's happening. I don't know the rate of accidents on Kauai versus Oahu. That's a good question. I'd be interested to find out. But we do get informed of the disciplinary action on these people. Some of these are very negligent, reckless. It is of a concern, and we've been very strong in advocating to our administration to provide proper training and discipline in cases where it is warranted. So yes, it is a concern of, I can speak for all 7. All 7 of us have shared that concern. Thank you. With that, the motion and second was received, and we did vote, right? Okay, so we're moving on. Thank you. Next item.
On page 4, committee reports from your Committee on Parks and Recreation and Transportation, CRPRT 2025-02.
Move to approve.
Any discussion or public testimony? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Next item, please.
Humor Committee on Public Safety and Human Services, CRPSHS 2025-03.
Move to approve.
Any discussion or public testimony? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Next item, please.
And on page 5, from your Committee on Finance and Economic Development, CRFED 2025-17 and CRFED 2025-18.
Move to approve.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion or public testimony? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Next item.
Resolution number 2025-36, resolution adopting the County of Kauai pre-disaster recovery framework.
Before we take the motion, because there's going to be a motion to defer, I just want to let the public know that the administration is requesting that this item be deferred until September 24th. So with that, I'll entertain a motion to defer.
Move to defer.
No discussion after a motion to defer. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Next item, please.
Bills for first reading, proposed draft bill number 2972, a bill for an ordinance amending Chapter 16, Kauai County Code 1987 as amended, relating to the traffic code. This is for electric bicycles.
Move to approve on first reading, schedule for a public hearing on October 15th, and refer to the Public Works and Veteran Services Committee.
Thank you. This is a bill that I'm introducing via Councilmember Vice Chair Kaua'i. I also have an amendment that we have prepared after speaking with Mr. Michael Moe from Public Works. So if you could introduce that amendment for me.
Yep. Move to amend as circulated. I don't see anybody.
Second. Yeah, it'll be coming around. It's not very. It's more clarifying the language in the original bill, and I'll be more than happy to go over it.
Can we introduce the topic, Will?
The what?
And we're going to hear what it is as he can come
Yeah,
up
I'm gonna
with it.
tell you what it is right now. We've all heard about the dangers and the tragedies really with e-bikes across the state, across the country, and we're seeing more and more here on Kauai, and I think none of us here have gone a day or two without seeing these electric bikes zooming on the road or on the sidewalks. And in fact, I was just sharing with the people from Hawaii when we had this bill come up at the last meeting, and I deferred it. After the meeting, I was heading out west for an appointment, and I saw an e-bike on the sidewalk by the old mill with 3 kids on the e-bike. It was that same day, which just motivated me more to get this thing fixed up and going. So basically, this is, we use the Honolulu, City and County Honolulu bill as a reference or a starting point, and kind of massage it into what we believe will work for Kauai. And if you look at the bill, they're number one, high-speed electric bicycles are not allowed on the road, period. They don't. So if you look at this bill, again, I'm looking at the amended version. We just talk about the high-speed electric vehicles are linked to higher incidence of preventable and severe injuries. That goes without saying. The original bill, we had a county definition of bicycle, and again, Mr. Michael Moe from Public Works and I and our staff sat down and he shared his suggestions, which we implemented some of them. So we removed the county definition of bicycle because it sits there in Hawaii revised statutes. We're not going to duplicate or compete with a state statute. One of the key changes from the original bill to the amended version is the prior bill, when you're talking about electric bicycle or e-bike, it means a bicycle equipped with fully operable pedals and an electric motor of no more than 750 watts, capable of speeds up to 28 miles per hour. That, if the original language would also apply to a bicycle without a motor. And if a bicycle is riding down the street, coming down Waimea Canyon Road or wherever she may be going, there's a good possibility that it may go over 28 miles an hour. We don't want to include bicycles. This bill is specifically for e-bikes. So it's clarification. So we added the language, the bicycle, e-bike means a bicycle that is capable of providing motor power. So you have to have an electric motor on there. Article 16 on page 2 of the amendment, Section 3, Article 16, we just cleaned up the title and made some clerical or grammatical fixes. And on the last page, when we had actually defined or talked about the design of these helmets that are required. All persons under the age of 18 are required to wear a helmet. That's in this law. Yeah, I can see they're not using helmets. That's why the law is important. And again, Mr. Mo's suggestion, just tie it into the state definition, the HRS definition, then there's no confusion. It is, you got to meet the specs of the statute, which means you got to be properly fitted, and you got to have a chin strap that is connected. You cannot use a football helmet on a motorcycle or e-bike. And then the fine, it'll be a civil traffic infraction, but it'll be $150 for each violation. So that's kind of what it is. We want to give, number one, we want to send a message. And again, prior to this bill, staff and I, and thank you staff for helping, have met with the police department and the prosecutor's office to make sure we have a bill that is enforceable and not just for show. But one of the byproducts of this bill is that it will provide an opportunity to make the community aware of the dangers, and that a lot of parents don't know the laws. But they will now, and the police officers and the prosecutor's offices will have the tools in place to go ahead and enforce it. So I'll open it up to the council first for any questions, and then we can have the public testimony.
Thank you so much for doing this. This is something that I think is important. And most of the violators that I see regularly and routinely in my community are maybe 12 years old. So, and they do multiple violations. It is really hard to negotiate with them, and I do try. How do we see this as being communicated out to parents? Because it seems like parents are really the ones that need to be engaging. When I watch kids, we have a little team of them on both sides of the street at night, riding down there, multiple kids on them, so they're in both lanes. They're even coming in oncoming traffic. They're pretty talented, but very, very reckless. How do you see this getting out to the parents or to the community? Because it's obviously they're being just allowed to do this. I don't know how we enforce that. It's
going to start with a press release, I'm assuming, and I think it'll be picked up. Kaua'i will probably mass blast the bill as a training video. Kaua'i does a great job with informing the public. But again, hopefully schools will educate their kids. Parents gotta understand what's going on. Whether it's legal or illegal, who in the heck lets their 12-year-old kid ride an e-bike up and down the road, knowing the dangers of that? You cannot legislate behavior, but it's we as a county is going to have to do. And again, we lean on the office of the public information officers to get this out. They should have the mechanisms in place to get this out.
Isn't this already in a state law?
It's not a state. It's not a state. The legislature had a bill go before the legislature. It went through, and then I think it was on the governor's veto list. I'm not sure if it got vetoed or not. But like Oahu, we did not want to wait for the state to take action, and because again, everyone, no one wants laws, but when that first, God forbid, the first child gets injured or killed, then it's too late. Is this going to save every life? Probably no. It's a law, like every other law, like speeding, and it's going to be up to the parents to make sure their kids are not violating the law. And if they get caught, then $150. I mean, it may not seem like much, but it does sting. It does sting.
I just want to make the comment. This is really difficult for the police to easily enforce. I'm sure that having a clear law helps. I do get regular communication and calls with me asking to have this stopped, and why aren't the police doing anything? But when there's, they're everywhere. Maybe you catch one here, you catch one there, but it's not an easy one to do. So I want to acknowledge that I don't really hold the police responsible for the behavior. It's really the parents, because they treat the parks and the community like a motocross field. And I have to say, I'm impressed at how capable they are at going anywhere and all over the place. I mean, it's like they're surfing the community on these little e-bikes.
Ms. Holland?
Thank you, Chair. I'm wondering if there's going to be some sort of process to legalize or license high-speed electrical devices in the future. Like, is there conversations happening around that? Because for me, my only concern is that if people went out and bought, responsible adults, went out and bought one of these for their get-around, say, from Lihui or something, is there going to be, because it says except otherwise by law, do we know if there's any kind of state processes trying to create a licensing program or?
I mean, if a motorcycle wants to go get a motor vehicle license to operate that vehicle on a highway, then yes, they go through the whole process. They got to get licensed. These bikes are not built for, highway use but people are using them, and these things go quick, these high-speed ones. So I would hope that the state would incorporate their current licensing regulations or requirements to those bikes. But that's not something we can do. But what we can do is keep them off our roads, and that is what this is.
I guess because there's just been such a large movement to bicycle use on roads with bicycle lanes and dedicated, bicycle use on our roads. I'm just wondering how that interfaces with people's ability to use these responsibly, licensed, maybe, I guess putting it out there that there needs to be some sort of legal process for people to be licensed, to be able to responsibly drive them in that way. But yes, I'm looking into it.
I mean, as long as the electric bike the high-speed electric bike meets the requirements of a motorcycle under the state law, they can get it licensed. But again, that would require them taking the test, doing the driver's test, and proving their proficiency.
So it would qualify as a motorcycle, or not?
I'm not sure what the state definition is, but that's where it would have to be fixed. If the state would amend or change their statute to include e-bikes as a motorcycle, that would be the way to go. I'm sure.
This is, it's not part of the amendment, but it's a follow-up to Councilmember Cowden's question. Yeah, just that one section was getting me a little bit confused. That same one, the one, except otherwise allowed by law, no high-speed electric device may be operated on any public street, highway, sidewalk, alley, path, or trail, including a bicycle path as defined in section 16.1.3. I was wondering, I know that we don't encourage bicycles on sidewalks, but I mean, if my kid was riding a bicycle, I'd rather than be on the sidewalk than in the bicycle lane. So similar to that with the electric bikes, I could see people being on the sidewalk, but again, I think the speed is the thing speed and how they drive it. But if there's a responsible user, do they use those bikes on paths and stuff too, like trails? I'm not sure.
On the regular e-bikes, what this bill is, we're talking about the bikes that have pedals, right? So they have pedals and they assist the rider. That's what this is what it covers. And this bill does not cover what that section is saying is if another law allows them to do it, then it's fine. I mean, it's kind of a weird statement, but if, for example, motorized bikes aren't allowed on the bike path anyway. So that wouldn't be applied or applicable. If a bicycle is, I don't even think we allow bicycles on sidewalks.
I think technically you're supposed to ride in the road.
Right.
And they're supposed, but kids don't know a lot of.
But I think that's just a catch-all section that basically says, as long as it's not covered and it's not legal in some other law, you got to abide by this law. That's kind of what that is.
So I follow up on his comment because when I look at that, I appreciate it. I'm not trying to undermine this, but when I watch the bikes and I interface with them regularly because I like to walk a lot. I try and get my 10,000 steps a day in or whatever, and these bikes, when they're on the sidewalk, you can't even hear them coming. And so often I'll try and stop the kids if I'm able. but they'll just come up right behind you, and you don't even know. And if you were to have turned or switched or something like that, you would get hit really quite hard, probably with a lot of damage. And it's often in a very narrow area. I know in Kilauea we have a pathway that's meant to not be bikes because we had somebody killed by a cyclist. And the bikes are almost always choosing whether they're a regular riding bike or an e-bike. They go on those paths. So I always just step off the path so the bike can pass me. But even on our Na'alahele trail out here, there's a lot of curves, there's a lot of clamps. You know, you have to be super vigilant as a pedestrian with especially the electric bikes. But if they're not allowed on the road and they're not allowed on the sidewalk or an alley or a path or a trail, I don't know that they're allowed anywhere.
Yeah, well, I mean, those laws already exist. This just specifically discusses the requirements for e-bicycles. Go ahead.
No, I just wanted to mention again that I think it starts at home with the parents, you know, with the kids and all that. So holding that accountability at that point. We can talk about all the different pathways and all of that, but electric / paddle. That's the thing right here for me. And how do we look at that and manage that? But it's a very important part for our keiki. So that to me is another part maybe we can talk about.
My advice to the parents is buy them pedal bikes, man.
Pedal bike,
It's healthy.
this old style.
I enjoyed my pedal bike. Still have one with the tag on in my office. I still got to go ride that bike. The other one I wanted to bring up, and I think it kind of covers what you're saying, Councilmember Cowden, and this is Mr. Moe had a concern about this because it was subjective. But if you look at Section 3, number or letter C, it is unlawful for an individual to operate an electric bicycle in any unsafe or otherwise hazardous manner or engage in exhibition driving on any public street, highway, alley, path, trail, or other public right-of-way. Mr. Moe was concerned that it was subjective and that the police officers, you know, could abuse that. My feeling is that we got to give the police that discretion. If Councilmember Holland, you're walking on Councilmember Cowden, you're walking on a sidewalk and some guy comes up to you, full speed, you don't hear him, you accidentally stepped in his way and he ran you over and you got hurt. To me, the officer would use his discretion. But in my case, that guy was driving in a reckless or hazardous manner. And yes, can it be abused? Absolutely. But, you know, we gotta, it's no different than a reckless driving law that we have for vehicles. It's the same thing. You leave that discretion up to the officer and the evidence that they have to determine if we're going to charge this person. So I believe that is important, but I would love to have a discussion on that, because if you remove that, then there is no discretion. And if they don't fit in any of these bullet points on the statute, then there's no violation. So I'd be curious to hear from the council before we open up to the public.
My response on that is I think it's good to have it in here. I think it's good to have as many guidelines there. I think we probably really need to have drivers training in grade school for these things, because what I watch, many adults use them for transportation, and they're used to driving cars. They understand about being on the right side of the road. They understand about paying attention. I haven't really seen hardly any adult riders that are, you know, say above 16 that are bad. Most people who are riding these already know how to drive. It's these kids that treat them like skateboards or surfboards, both skill sets that I appreciate and have promoted. But it really comes down to training these kids, and a number of them I have talked to in my own town that are willing to come and talk to the mayor. We've come up with some ideas. Though what they really want is something like a motocross area where they can ride the bikes and not be in trouble. That's what they don't have. Their negotiation with me is if they could use the 50 acres that we are going to turn into housing. I did ask housing. They were like, no, I don't think so. I understand that. But they need a place to play, because otherwise the shopping centers, the parks, the schoolyard, the yards, people's property, anywhere. As I say, they're like a school of fish swimming through the reef. They're quite impressive, but they do not recognize any of these rules.
Anyone else? If not, with that, I'll suspend the rules. Is there anyone in the audience wishing to testify? Mr. Cycles?
For the record, Lonnie Psychos. I thank the chair and all of the council for pursuing this because it's a very complicated issue and it deals with parents and parents' responsibilities. I'll simply start by saying I lived on Oahu in my early and mid-20s, and for a season I rode a 15-speed bike from Makiki to Kewalo Basin for my job. I did it solely to save money because the uphill ride in the afternoon was pretty strenuous. I quit riding the bicycle because in just the first couple of months, 3 times I witnessed bicycle riders end up on the pavement. The first one got hit by a tow truck on Keamoku Street. The next 2 were on Ala Moana Boulevard, and one time they drove off the edge of the curb, hit their head on the pavement. The other time they hit that little rock wall and went face first into the lava rock wall. The last 2 times, the people never woke up before the ambulance came and got them, and I witnessed their head go in kapak on the pavement. So this is very, very serious risk for the kids riding these bikes, for anybody, but especially for the kids riding the bike. My father was an industrial safety engineer, and so these types of things I'm very familiar with, and I commend you all on what you're doing, but I would say that the biggest problem we're facing are the parents of these kids. And so the way to deal with that is we need a public relations program that's not just the police and the prosecutor, but get the federal public health nurse, because they get national statistics. There's head injuries from bicycles and motorcycles. And my father didn't believe motorcyclists should be forced to wear helmets. And his rationale was if you crash going more than about 30 miles an hour, the helmet will protect you from head injury, but you're going to die from blunt trauma from the rest of your body. So what we're trying to prevent is the kids being protected by the helmet and yet still injured. So I agreed we should look at creating parks for them because my perspective, these are the new skateboards. They're not going away. They're going to get more popular. And right now is when we need to change the public's attitude about this is not a toy. This is like giving your child a pellet gun or a .22 rifle, right? This is definitely, they're not toys. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else? Mr. Hart?
For the record, Bruce Hart. I want to thank Chair, and in fact, I want to thank all the council members because I listened as you spoke and what your positions are. I am pleased that the Lord motivated me to pursue this. And Chair, should we thank the Hawaii Bicycle League too? Were they part of this?
They did provide testimony and support.
Okay, so I thanked them too. And as we all have discussed, it's a serious issue. It's one of the things I think that I would like. This is one of the things that motivates me to come here, to be a part of something like this. And either side of this banister, if sitting in one of those chairs, I would be very motivated in regards to this. I'll address Councilmember Holland's concern. I have talked to many of the young teenagers. They spend a considerable amount of money on some of these, what I call electric motorcycles. And I think that they should be able to go through a licensing process and operate under the same rules and regulations as any other motorcycle. But I also want to impress upon all of them, because I think some of them are listening, is that they have to obey the rules of the road. And they have to behave in a manner that is consistent with all the laws and regulations that regulate a regular motorcycle. But having said that, I have no objection. And in regards to the bike path, and I spoke to Councilmember Kaua'i, and even before these e-bikes, I've been concerned that the bike path is more casual. Most of the riders don't consider it a road, but the damage they can do to an individual going even on a pedal bicycle, they're supposed to have some type, this is my understanding, they're supposed to have some type of warning, a horn, a bell, or something, or they ought to say something when they're going by. I don't want to eliminate bicycles on the bicycle path, but I don't want to eliminate people either. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Mr. Cycles?
For the record, Lonnie Psychos. Just for the council and for the public watching this, one of the complications that the council deals with this in writing this type of ordinance is the fact that many of these definitions that we're dealing with come from federal regulatory actions. I'm 71 years old. In 3rd or 4th grade, Honda released the Honda 50 motorcycle. And so the Honda 50 wasn't a motorcycle because federal law says it has to have more than 50 cc's in order to be allowed on the roads and thus registered and licensed as a motorcycle. And so what you have is at the low end of vehicles, carve-outs from, for whatever reason, from the federal government that prevents you from treating an e-bike like it's a motorcycle, because legally it's not a motorcycle, and you legally can't make it a motorcycle because federal law says it's not a motorcycle. And so it is very complicated and tip of the hat to Mel, because he's not only got the bull by the horns, but the bull's like shaking quite a bit in all of this. But keep up the good work. Thank you very much, and there is a path forward.
Thank you. Anyone else? If not, I'll call a meeting back to order. Again, this is just first reading, so this will go to public hearing on October 15th, and then it'll go to our committee where it will be vetted out, and if any members have amendments to include either more or less stringent measures, then that's where that will occur. So with that, any other discussion?
Chair, I have a question for you. I'm fully supportive of all of this. I notice in the amendment it adds "and mopeds," right? So in Article 16, the title. Mm-hmm. So, and seeing the title as being, you know, sort of broad, play vehicles, carts, motorcycles, motor scooters, and mopeds. So my first question is, so this includes golf carts, ATVs, and mules?
The section does, but this...
Yeah, just, then I was going to, my other question was, so here, all of this detail is just talking about the e-bikes.
Correct.
But in the rest of this bill or law, are there already existing language similar that address all the others, or do we have to address that also?
They're already addressed.
And is it as detailed and specific as this? I mean, I really like the language about giving the officers discretion. I think that is important. But I'm just curious as to whether all of this type of, you know, basically we're encouraging safety. And I see some of the same unsafe activities happening with those other vehicles as well.
Correct.
The carts, ATVs, mules. So, but that's, I'll go look at that, and if that requires something more, then I'll work on that separately.
And the concern that I had was the amount of e-bike accidents that were occurring.
Yeah.
And that was what, got me to
The
draft it.
concern I have over what I see sometime is the amount of lucky there wasn't an accident, because a child could have died, a baby could have died, a bunch of kids could have died, But the reckless behavior, if it's addressed in these bills like this, the other sections, I think it's important.
Yeah, we can take a look at that.
I will.
And again, enforcement is always another issue, because you can have all the laws you want.
Yeah.
I pass dirt bikes on the road, motorcycles, just like it's legal, and it's not. Golf carts now making a comeback on Kauai on the highways. Like, how in the heck you get a golf cart on the road? So the bill is only as good as the enforcement that's attached, and that's where we got to really. I can tell you that KPD, and I don't expect them to go out and unless on a special project, but on their normal routine work, they do not have the time to be looking for e-bikes on the road. But this gives them the tool that if they do come across one, or if there is a complaint, they will be able to take action. So that's the whole idea.
The other thing I would add is that, yes, enforcement might be difficult because, crime and other more important is where we need the cops to be. But if it's all in the law in this kind of detail, and then we do the education, I think at least we can educate parents and neighbors and whatever about this kind of necessity for safety. I mean, it's common sense for some, but I think when you spell it all out and you say it's against the law and you say there's a fine, it might create more education.
And I just have a process question about the committee meeting. Will we have anybody here from Kauai Police Department? I'd like to be able to hear from them, maybe safe routes to school, because they have a lot of focus on this, and maybe the e-bike, I forget what they call themselves, but there's a group.
Yep.
Because I think getting good ideas, and it really is a presentation to the community. The way it gets put out there, and that can't just lie on us or the newspaper. It's there needs to be sort of a partnership strategy.
And then again, I rely on DOE. I rely on the schools. That's where these kids are. I think how they do their little informational campaigns and all kinds of things. I think the schools as well, and work with our state delegation to, not allow middle school kids who are not legally driving these e-bikes to park an e-bike at the school. I'm hearing that's what they have, parking areas designated for these kids who should not be on e-bikes to park their e-bikes, and so it's an effort that is going way beyond the county, but it's going to take the cooperation of everyone.
So I guess in clarifying what I was just asking, I'm going to support this. It's not that I need something to help me support it, and so it's up to your discretion. But if we invited those people to come make a simple presentation,
Oh no, they'll be invited.
that'll help us and whoever is paying attention to maybe find something that wasn't right. I know I was hit by a truck when I was 12. I had migraines for 44 years, and I didn't wake up for 3 days after I got hit, and that's before they put you in a chemical coma. So I had very serious skull fracture from it. So I'm really cautious and watch these kids do these things recklessly, but I also honor their skills. They're pretty impressive at how recklessly.
Until they crash,
Until they crash.
Until they crash. Councilmember Holland?
Chair, thank you so much for introducing this. As part of my discussion and research on this, can I share some stuff that was put out by the prosecuting attorney? Because I think there's actually additional laws that I think people just aren't aware of, because this was published in February of this year. It says, in light of recent questions about laws regulating bicycles and e-bikes, our office prepared an overview of some of the regulations that govern these vehicles. An electric bike in Hawaii is currently defined as a low-speed electric bicycle. This means 2 or 3 wheeled vehicles with fully operable pedals and an electric motor of less than 750 watts with a maximum speed of paved level surface of less than 20 miles per hour. Individuals under the age of 15 are prohibited from operating low-speed electric bicycles. So already I'm thinking a lot of
That's my point about the middle schools. You cannot allow, I mean.
It continues, it says bicycles and e-bike riders under the age of 16 are required to wear a properly faceted helmet. A bicyclist must ride on the permanent regular seated seat attached to the bicycle, which means no packing, or no bicycle shall be used to carry more persons at one time than the number for which it was designed and equipped. No person shall ride a bicycle equipped with a motor on any sidewalk. Traffic laws apply to persons riding bicycles. Any bicycle used from 30 minutes after sunset until 30 minutes before sunrise must have a headlight facing forward that emits a white light and is visible at least 500 feet from the front. If an electric bike goes more than 20 miles an hour, it is no longer classified as a bicycle. Under Hawaii revised statutes, this means that the subject to the rules governing vehicles, depending on the horsepower, speed, and wattage of a vehicle, this may be classified as mopeds, motor scooters, and motorcycles. Operation of such vehicles require a driver's license. So, I mean, are we just not following the law as it is? In other words, what may appear to be an e-bike may actually be a moped, a motor scooter, or a motorcycle. For an e-bike, that is technically a moped. It is prohibited to be driven at more than 35 miles per hour. Any moped operator on a public street, road, or highway or public property must be at least 15 years old and must process a valid driver's license or instructional permit. Moped operators under the age of 18 are required to wear a helmet. New vehicles are being introduced to the market faster than regulations are being developed and enforced. Given the speed at which these vehicles can travel and their weight, the risk of harm exceeds that of a traditional pedal bicycle. House bills, which did not pass this year, and Prosecutor Like stated safety precautions begin at home, like we've discussed. Children under the age of 16 are required to wear helmets on bikes and e-bikes. Those under the age of 18 are required to wear helmets on mopeds, and no one under the age of 15 is permitted to operate an e-bike or moped at all. Electric bikes are also prohibited on sidewalks. There's been an increased crashes involving motor vehicles and e-bikes, often with children suffering serious injuries. Our office is working with KPD to increase enforcement of these existing regulations, and we encourage parents to familiarize themselves with existing laws, especially the requirements that children wear helmets. So I find this incredibly interesting. Not knowing anything about it prior to this meeting, it feels to me like we already have a little bit of structure that's just not being enforced.
Yeah, and a lot of those details were in the legislature, in the bill that was on. We've got to follow up whether or not that bill got vetoed. But as you can see, a lot of what was in what you just read is in this bill is because of the prosecutor, and it was Becky and her traffic case prosecutor was the ones that guided us with the language along with our county attorney. So this kind of brings it home to our county. The one question I do have is, because she references 20 miles an hour, and we have 28. I thought that the statute was 28, but we'll look at that. And we want to be in line with the state statute. So whether it's 28 or 20, whatever the statute is what we'll incorporate into this bill at the committee.
Thank you, Chair, for this.
No, thank you. Yeah, but how many of you in the audience right now remember reading that story in the paper or saw it on the news? Or
which story?
the one that was a press release.
Press release in February of this year.
Yeah, so that's my point. And I think that goes to your point. We cannot rely on a newspaper and a press release. It has to be a much more statewide effort to get this done. But the first step is passing the bill, and then we educate. So anyway, any other questions or comments? If not, thank you all. We are voting on the amendment. Let's do the amendment. So the motion is to approve the amendment as circulated. Roll call.
Councilmember Carvalho?
Aye.
Councilmember Cowden?
Aye.
Councilmember Holland?
Aye.
Councilmember Kaneshiro?
Aye.
Councilmember Kaua'i?
Aye.
Council Chair Bozo?
Aye.
6 ayes.
We are back to the main motion, and again, the motion is to approve, and it'll go to public hearing October 15th. Roll call.
Councilmember, Councilmember Carvalho.
Aye.
Councilmember Cowden.
Aye.
Councilmember Holland.
Aye.
Councilmember Kaneshiro.
Aye.
Councilmember Kaua'i.
Aye.
Council Chair Reposo.
Aye.
6 ayes.
Next item, please.
Chair, the next item is on page 6, proposed draft bill number 2974, a bill for an ordinance amending chapter 23, Kauai County Code 1987 as amended relating to the regulation of business and trades. This is for taxi cab rates for touring or chartered times.
Move to approve on first reading, schedule for public hearing on October 15th, and refer to the Finance and Economic Development Committee.
Second.
Thank you. All this bill does, again, this was introduced by myself. It is, taxi cabs on Kauai have two rates. They have a rate 1 where you basically call the cab, go to the airport, and you get charged miles and time. The council also approved years ago a rate 2, which allows people to basically rent the cab for a period of time at a minimum of 2 hours. If they want to do a tour, if they want to go up to Kauai and they don't want to deal with paying miles and time, they can actually basically secure the taxi cab for a set amount of time. And all this does is increase the rate, because this rate has not been increased for a very long time. What used to be $120 for a minimum 2-hour period, my amendment just proposes that we go up to $180 because costs have increased. This was requested by the taxi cab people. This was worked on actually with Councilmember Ross Kagawa when he was here a while back, and for some reason never made the agenda. So I'm resurrecting this bill for Councilmember Kagawa. I fully support it. I think just the cost of fuel and maintenance on vehicles today, I think it's a fair amount. And to be honest, I don't know of too many local residents that will be impacted by this. This will be all visitors that come in and want to secure. Where I see this is very, very popular is on boat days when the boats come in and the boats want to go do a quick tour to the North Shore or to Kauai. They can actually rent the cab, and the cab will provide that for them at a fixed rate versus a mile and time rate. That's kind of what it is. Councilmember Cowell.
So I remember when this was being discussed earlier, at least. I've talked to cab drivers. I haven't recently. Has this number been bounced off the cab organization in the very recent past for whatever is today's rates?
Yeah, as recent as 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
Or 3 weeks ago. Yeah, the one of the taxi operators called me and asked me. I didn't know about this bill, so it was there. So yeah, and they'll be here on at the public hearing to testify. I told them come on public hearing. No sense coming today. The number was vetted. And that's kind of what they wanted. So, anything else? Anybody in the audience wishing to testify? With that, I'll suspend the rules.
Again, for the record, Bruce Sark, I remember this. I remember it being discussed, other issues about the taxi cab drivers, and I'm in support of this. Taxi cab drivers are an independent small business, and there are times whenever, even though we're a local, we need one, and I think it's a good thing. So I thank Chair for resurrecting it. Thank you.
Anyone else?
For the record, Lonnie Sykos. Again, my thanks to the chair for resurrecting this. As one who, when I was younger, traveled widely, I never drove a vehicle in a foreign country, ever. I hired taxi cabs, but more often I hired a driver, which was you go find a line of cabs and start saying who speaks English, and when somebody speaks enough English, that's your driver. And the flat rate is attractive both to the driver of the cab as well as the passenger, because you get stuck in traffic and it's tough on the driver watching that meter spin and the person's not seeing the sights or doing what they're doing, whereas flat rate is just flat rate, everybody's happy, and the traffic isn't the same psychological issue for money that it is when the meter's running. So tip of the hat, thank you very much. And when I read this, I was shocked at how low the current rate is. Tip of the hat for the economic development for the working class on Kauai for significantly raising the pay for the taxi drivers. And they provide a service that Lyft and Uber and all of that does not provide. And so for myself, I have no access to money on my telephone. I can't Lyft or Uber because I don't want my phone hacked and lose all my money. I'm old, right? I mean, nobody cares about that but us old farts. And so taxi cabs to me are really needed because, like, to go to the airport, I either get one of my neighbors to take me or usually I take a taxi cab. So I'm very grateful that you're helping to keep the cabs in business on Kauai, and I'm sure they're going to be really happy with the pay raise that's coming up. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Not, a call a meeting back to order. I just thought of a funny taxi cab story. You mentioned driving in another country. So in Korea, I get deployed to Korea, you get an in-country briefing. And they tell you, if by any chance you have an opportunity to catch a cab in Korea, if that cab gets you into an accident, run. Because in Korea, the person that hires the taxi is responsible for the accident. Yeah.
Wow.
Anyway, I just thought that was funny. Mr. Kanashiro.
No, yeah, I'm in support of this. It's always weird for me to think that we're in charge of the taxi cab rates.
Yeah.
And really, I mean, it never reaches us until like they call and say, hey, our rate is low or what. Other than that, I mean, we're not really paying attention to the taxi cab rates, but it's the way it goes. I think the whole entire state, each county regulates the taxi cab rate on that island. I'm in favor of it. Yeah.
Anyone else? If not, the motion is to approve and send to public hearing. Roll call.
Councilmember Carvalho?
Aye.
Councilmember Cowden?
Aye.
Councilmember Holland?
Aye.
Councilmember Kanashiro?
Aye.
Councilmember Kaua'i?
Aye.
Council Chair Opozo?
Aye.
6 ayes.
Next item, please.
Chair, the next item is a bill for second reading, Bill number 2970, Draft 1, a bill for an ordinance amending ordinance number B2025-905 as amended relating to the operating budget of the County of Kauai, State of Hawaii for the fiscal year July 1st, 2025 through June 30th, 2026 by revising the amounts estimated in the Public Access, Open Space, Natural Resources Reservation Fund. This is for the Hanapepe Monument, $315,000.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion or public testimony? No final comments on this? I just want to thank Planning, Open Space, the community, and everyone, and especially with the amendment to the amount, because obviously the council was responding to the request of the administration and Open Space. The community felt that they needed more money to make this right, and the administration supported the increase in amount. So I just want to thank all of them for their support. Go ahead, Mr. Congressman.
Yeah, I just want to say I'm eager to see what comes out of it. You know, I think they've been reaching out to the artistic community on, you know, how is the best way to show this monument and both sides of, you know, the conflict of it and how do we do it respectfully. And yeah, I'm really excited to see what comes out of it. I'm sure we're going to get a lot of great ideas.
Councilman Hahn.
Yeah, I won't say a lot. I said plenty last time, so just really excited also to see what happens and excited to support this. Thank you.
My response is pretty simple like that too. I know even when we look at Pa'ulaula putting the Kamoli'i statue there, I think really added a lot of place-based history, and it's beautiful. And I think right there on the side of the highway, it'll be really nice to do something to honor what happened in history, both for the union and for our sugar workers and our Filipino community. So I hope people pull over and pay attention and learn something, and that it really strengthens our, you know, knowledge within our own community.
Absolutely. Anything else? If not, the motion is to approve. This is final reading. Roll call.
Councilmember Carvalho.
Aye.
Councilmember Cowden.
Aye.
Councilmember Holland.
Aye.
Councilmember Kaneshiro.
Aye.
Councilmember Kaua'i.
Aye.
Council Chair Reposo.
Aye.
6 ayes.
And the next one.
The next bill and the last item is Bill number 2971, Draft 1, a bill for an ordinance amending ordinance number B2025-906 as amended relating to the capital budget of the County of Kauai, State of Hawaii for the fiscal year July 1st, 2025 through June 30th, 2026 by revising the amounts estimated in the Public Access, Open Space, Natural Resources Preservation Fund. This is in the CIP for the Hanapepe Parcel Monument Improvement.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion or public testimony? Seeing none, roll call.
Just one
Oh,
quick
I'm
thing.
sorry.
No, I'm sorry. I just forgot to say that. I just wanted to say I'm hopeful. I'm thinking this will be something really special, and I'm just hopeful that our workers and our working families and our unions and like the ILWU, for the history of what the labor movement has meant in Hawaii, that they will utilize that to have events and have educational stuff so that our young people learn more about our history. Thank you, Chair.
Mr.
And just to follow up on that, just the team effort that it took to place this year, to bring it forward and the recognition and all of that, I think that's an important part that resonated for me. So I just wanted to mention that too as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, if nothing else, roll call.
Councilmember Carvalho.
Aye.
Councilmember Cowden.
Aye.
Councilmember Holland.
Aye.
Councilmember Kaneshiro.
Aye.
Councilmember Kaua'i.
Aye.
Council Chair Reposo.
Aye.
6 ayes.
And there are no further business on the agenda. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you all.
Who knew?